Hey, welcome back to another episode of The Disturbing Illusion. I actually should have called it Our Disturbing Illusion because pretty much everything we've been subjected to with the 15,000 hour public fool indoctrination program, the incessant propaganda coming out of fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media, and political circles has really got our brains pickled and tied into such a knot that everything is really illusory. And I want to be real clear about something before I go on with this broadcast right here. I don't have anything personal against Clint Russell. As a matter of fact, follow Clint Russell on X. Looks like he's closing in, I guess, 25,000 subscribers, which that's great. You know, that's wonderful. He's got a lot of good content that I think you would benefit from. I don't have any beef with Redheaded Libertarian, but I am confused that Clint Russell and Redheaded Libertarian and Ian Carroll, all of whom I follow on X and benefit from as far as the content that they produce. It's perplexing and confusing that they would support and continue to support somebody who was bailed out back in the 1990s. Remember Taj Mahal in Atlantic City? He got bailed out by a guy named Wilbur Ross who he was an employee for Rothschilds Inc. You know, there's varying figures, but it's at least $600 million that he was bailed out. Some say it was as high as $2 billion. But when you get bailed out by the Rothschilds Incorporated central banking cartel, can you really say that for the rest of that guy's life, Donald Trump in this situation is not dangling from banker strings? I don't understand the support for a guy who calls himself the father of the VAXX, was for red flag gun confiscation laws, said that he'll throw you in jail for a year if you're burning a Chinese-made American flag. Go figure on the irony of that. That he's going to federally indemnify. He's going to put a blanket of federal indemnity or protection on police. You know, there's 900,000 police officers in the United States protecting and serving the crap out of the rest of us, increasing the coffers of the military industrial complex and the defense contractors, $6.2 trillion theft, and the biggest power and wealth transfer that anyone has seen, not just in America, but in the entire world. And Clint Russell and Redheaded Libertarian and Ian Carroll all support this. I'm confused as to why. I would love to talk with them about it because these are big deals, not to mention the fact that Donald Trump is a Zionist. Okay. So I don't understand how people are getting thrown off by all the seemingly good things that DOGE is doing, the Department of Government Efficiency, in exposing all the wasted taxpayer funds when we all know that the government is in the business of coercively extracting or extorting funds from the American tax cattle so that they can fund military industrial projects, prison industrial projects, the long, costly, and failed drug war, empire building and expansion. You name it, the government's got their hand in it. So it's no surprise when an organization like DOGE comes along and says, hey, guess what? USAID, they've been wasting a whole lot of money on a whole bunch of stupid crap. So let me just read you what Clint Russell says, and then I want to play you this video right here by a guy named Isaiah Carter, who says, I hereby renounce the Democratic Party. Clint Russell says the DOGE discoveries are not just about wasted taxpayer funds. The real story, the 5-alarm fire, is that USAID was literally funding an entirely handcrafted pseudo reality. Well, when you spearhead a thing called Operation Warp Speed, I would say that is a handcrafted pseudo reality. So while I understand condemning USAID and all the wasteful expenditures they were and are involved in and applaud the exposure of it, why can't we talk about the other side with such fervency? Like the fact that Elon Musk is one of the biggest welfare queens to ever set foot on American soil, to the tune of billions of dollars in subsidies given by the U.S. government, which means given by the American tax cattle. This is the person who heads up DOGE. Can you really trust him? Clint Russell, Redhead Libertarian, Ian Carroll, and a whole bunch of others seem to think that you can. And again, I'm not their enemy. And as far as I know, they're not my enemy. But God, this stuff it's a head scratcher. It makes you just wonder what the frick is going on. What does holding the line look like? What does a principal position look like? Maybe I am wrong. If I'm wrong, I want to know what's going on. Because I see calling yourself the father of the VAXX and being a Zio shill for the central banking cartel, not doing anything about the Federal Reserve, not doing anything about the expansion. As a matter of fact, wanting to expand more into Gaza and flatten the place and build, make it the Riviera of the Middle East kind of thing. If Biden did that kind of thing, I would think that Clint and Redheaded Libertarian and Ian Carroll and others would come out against that. So why is there no coming out against this? Maybe there is. Maybe I've missed it. But I don't understand these kind of focus points that don't also include the massive screwing over of the American people by a Trump administration, which also includes being screwed over by the Biden administration and the Obama administration and the Bush administration and the Clinton administration. Not just in America, but all over the world. You were robbed to fund global psychological operations, but we have a current individual who, in the embodiment of Tulsi Gabbard, who's the commander of a psychological operations unit. But those people get a hat tip? I don't get it. Buying off media outlets, that's bad. Pushing advertiser boycotts against X and Rumble as they attempt to decrease censorship. I'm censored on X. I'm censored on Rumble. Some other people aren't. If you speak favorably about the regime, the current regime, you're gonna do pretty well. Even if you're going against even if you're going against the current regime, but you're still playing the political psychopathic game on the left or being a progressive propagandist, you're getting massive views on this platform. But you got to be playing the game. If you're not playing the game, you get valved down. If you start saying, yeah, I know Joe Biden's a Zionist, and I know Zionist is globalist expansionism, but I also know that Trump is involved in globalist expansionism under the Zionist platform as well. AKA narrative control, pushing war propaganda. Wasn't a war committed against us under the Convid 1984 by George Orwell nonsense though? Doesn't that also count as a war against the American people, a domestic war launched against them on American soil? Funding opposition groups in foreign lands to foment revolutions, funding lawfare against the former president of the United States and his supporters, but it wasn't going to go anywhere. It's not an election process, it's a selection process. Trump could never be where he is without the Zio International Banking Cartel's blessing. It's abundantly clear who owns Congress, and that's AIPAC. It's abundantly clear that is a pro-globalist / Zionist organization that Trump approves of, Biden approves of, Obama approves of. He said I could go on for an hour. People get caught up on the $100,000 study, cocaine's impact on Chihuahua stories. That is not the headline here. The headline here is the U.S. government robbed you blind in an effort to control your mind. Speaking of robbing somebody blind, what do you call, I've never signed anything with a T on it before. What do you call sitting down with one signature before a ridiculous stack of papers called the CARES Act and signing away $6.2 trillion and having a power and wealth transfer under an administration? What do you call that if that's not robbing you blind? What do you call increasing the national debt? Not 8.4 trillion, but 12.4 trillion in 4 years, when Obama could only muster about 9 trillion in 8 years. That's called robbing the government blind. It's called devaluing the dollar. And the years that followed, everybody blamed Biden for the price increases. The price increase, there's a lagging effect on that. It takes a while for all that currency, that fiat currency, which included a $3 trillion Federal Reserve backstop, by the way. It takes a little while for that to work its way through the economy so that you see the price of steak and eggs and chicken and gas going up. It happened, a little while ago. Yeah, Biden added to it for sure, but the fire was ignited by Trump. That's about as big as it gets. And I agree, but I don't understand I don't understand the willingness to not take a look at the not just deficiencies, but the evils of your own side. So I just want to play this right here. Clint Russell says, Isaiah gets it. I hereby renounce the Democrat Party. And to one extent, I understand what's going on here. But on the other side of it, it's politics. What do you expect for a politician to do to you? Do you really expect, Isaiah, do you really expect, Clint, that anybody in politics on the left or the right is going to tell you the truth? That's not what politics is all about. Politics is now and will always be the clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to dupe average people into accepting and even demanding the chains of their own enslavement. No truth comes out of politics, left or right. So listen to what Isaiah says here as he claims to renounce the Democrat Party.
This fucking political party, the Democratic Party, have lied to us about everything. They've lied about being the party of the middle class.
Did you expect them not to, though? Remember what happened in 2001, September 11th, 2001 to be exact? You remember what the Democrats and the Republicans did to the American people? They aligned themselves against the American people, forged and formulated the Patriot Act, which was a wild, crazy Fourth Amendment grab that they successfully executed to the point where we still have blue shirts 20-something years later. Over 2 decades later, we still have the blue shirts of the TSA, $9 billion a year for that, to pretend to keep us safe, to display security theater. That's the Republicans and the Democrats. They lied to us to get us to the point where they hammered out the Patriot Act. How can an adult in the 2000s, in the 2020s, not expect both political parties to be beholden to special interest groups that work against the American people, taking away our rights and taking away more of our wealth? I don't understand that.
Lied about being the party of peace. They lied about being the party that wants to help poor people. Okay? What the last several weeks have proven to us all is that this is a cadre of criminals and losers and spoiled children of affluent parents who were more concerned about looking good than actually doing good.
Do you expect politicians to be and do good? Does anybody expect a politician? And I'm not just talking about the congressmen or the senators, but I'm talking about, do you expect a governor to do and be good? A vice president, a president? Do you expect them to be good? Do you expect them to be doing good things? They don't and they won't, because they can't. They are incapable of doing good things. If they're going to be doing good things, they wouldn't have aspired to be a politician, to be in the political sphere, because you know you're going to benefit from the extracted wealth of others, for one thing. And number two, you know you're going to be involved in a process that oppresses people, not frees them. The government is not here to free us. The government is not here it's supposed to be here to preserve life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness, but they're too busy taking away your happiness. They're too busy extracting your property from you. They're too busy embroiling themselves and interfering with things in foreign lands that we shouldn't be involved in. So where is the shock here that the Democrat Party let you down, Isaiah? Where is it?
These are people who were more concerned about looking like they were doing something for the American people than actually doing things for the American people.
But that's what politics is all about. They're supposed to look like they're doing something for the American people while doing the exact opposite. That you put your finger on the pulse of exactly what politics is. That's why I don't understand why Clint is promoting this. And by the way, I forgot to mention that the reason this and almost all of his tweets go, from my perspective, viral. But because this was promoted by Elon Musk, it got 8.7 million views. So it's popular to take a side. It's popular to take a side. If you take a side, you'll be scurrying under the shadows of the protective wing of the people who are actually in power. At this point right now, it's the Donald Trump regime, including Elon Musk, who owns a platform that oppresses people like me and lets other people, get some crazy views, crazy subscriptions. Clint Russell, it says he's closing in on, I think, 25. Yeah, look, he says right here, and then I'll get back to what this Isaiah guy is saying. While I have the attention of 10 million people, thanks to the Elon QT, you should check out my interview with the Ian Carroll Show and get me to 25,000 subs on YouTube. Now, Clint Russell currently has 227, I don't know if you can see this, but 227,000 followers, but he has 25,000 subscribers. You know how many subscribers I have? 5. I've got 5 subscribers. He has 25,000 subscribers. If each one was given, holy cow, if he really has 25,000 subscribers and each one is paying $2 a month for the subscription, you got to be kidding me. Or $1. Let's say it's $1 a month. Let's say it's 50 cents a month. Holy cow. Holy cow. See, it pays to pussyfoot around the left versus right paradigm lie. It pays to support and vote for a Donald Trump. It pays to support like Harry Sisson and David Pakman on the leftist propagandists to promote a Kamala Harris, because you got to have that WWE fight between the two parties. That's what keeps it going. That's what keeps the perception of power going for the people behind the curtain. They don't want to be seen. They don't want people to know who they are. They don't want anybody to know that they are animating the puppets, the puppeteers and the marionettes on your side of the curtain. They want to stay anonymous on this side of the curtain while they're running the entire show, under the stage and behind the stage. So as long as you play along with their political parasitic game, everything's all cool. We can keep the audience coming. That's how the WWE makes bank. They choreograph all their stuff. They get it down perfectly, so when the spotlight shines on them, they can perform for the audience, and then the audience will keep coming back. But they're not enemies. I don't know who the protagonists and antagonists of the WWE are these days, but it's that good guy, that's that hero versus bad guy mentality that keeps people coming back. It makes people pay for movie admission tickets. They want to see a protagonist. They want to see the antagonist. They want to see the battle going. They want to see the conflict. And when you expose the whole thing as, hey, this whole thing is messed up, we need to take a completely different direction, you get demonetized. You get bottom shelved. You get shadow banned. That's just the reality. That's the reality of our disturbing illusion. Let's put it that way.
And that's why I'm so angry. Because this party lied to me while stealing my tax dollars.
No shocker there.
The Democratic Party lied to us all while they brought in millions of illegal immigrants for their own political purposes for the last 4 years. 20 to 30 million illegal aliens brought in, and now we come to USAID being probably the largest money laundering operation in American history.
Come on. That's not even close to being right. You want a money laundering operation? You want a counterfeiting operation? You don't have to look any further than the Federal Reserve and the IRS. You don't have to look any further than the income tax. That's not the most massive money laundering scheme. As a matter of fact, you can't fund programs, psychological operations programs like USAID, unless you had the funny money, unless you had the income tax, unless you had the armed IRS agents. You can't have any of this stuff over here unless you put the axe to the root of this tree right here. If you put the axe to the root of this tree and this tree falls down, then you can't have USAID. You can't have Pentagon waste. You can't have nation building. You can't have the war on drugs, which is really the war on people, or the plethora of other things that work against the American people.
Congratulations, Dems. You've outdone even Bernie Madoff. I'm disgusted beyond words. Disgusted with the waste of money. Disgusted with the waste, with the fraud. With the way that you people use color legitimacy, and the way you use black people as fucking mules to get us to push whatever fucking agenda you wanted to. The amount of division you used black people to sow upon the American people, you used us for that.
But politics is divisive. If it is anything, it is divisive. That's what politics is for. It's to divide and dehumanize and disempower the masses to get them going at each other while the people behind the curtain are splitting the money and drinking the beer and smoking the Black Dragon cigars and drinking the cognac.
And I will never, ever forgive this political party. The shit that I've gone through personally. Y'all were supposed to be the party of free speech, the party of women's rights. You have immolated all of those things. And then, as if enough weren't enough, you then decide that you're...
By the way, if either party was for freedom, the very least that they would do is come against the National Firearms Act of 1934 and get rid of all of the gun laws and go, you know what? We got a supreme law of the land. It's called the Second Amendment. Right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Deal with it. But no Republican and no Democrat is signing on to that. They're all anti-gun. And if they're anti-gun, they're anti-American. And if they're anti-American, they're anti-you and your family. Put an R by the name, a D by the name. It doesn't matter. They're against you. And all of a sudden, this is a revelation for people like Isaiah? What?
Gonna die on the hill of USAID, a government audit. You're trying to prevent a government audit because some of you really are trying to stay out of prison. We see the game now. Y'all been out here telling us that the game was rigged against certain people. Well, now we found out who the people that were rigging the game were. Congratulations. Y'all are never gonna win another political race ever again. Not if I can help it.
And who were they? This is the end of this video. Who were they, Isaiah? They were Zionists. Remember what Joe Biden said? You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist. I'm a Zionist. Who else is a Zionist? Who the other day was declared the best friend that Israel has ever had in the White House? Netanyahu declared that about Donald Trump. They all keep it in the family. And of course they would, because you know who was bailed out by that. So as far as, I don't know, I would love to talk with Clint Russell. I mean, these are big fish. I am a small guppy in a big ocean. As a matter of fact, I would call myself, and I have likened myself to microplankton. These guys are sharks. These guys are whales. These guys are huge. They have a massive following. They generate a large income from platforms like this. And I don't think people have a heart for the truth. And like William Blum said, former State Department representative, no matter how paranoid or conspiracy minded you may be, what the government is doing and what the government has done is far more evil than you can possibly comprehend. So it amazes me. It's mind blowing that somebody like this adult right here named Isaiah is just now come to the conclusion and the revelation that the government is as bad as we always knew it was and is as wasteful as it always has been. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Maybe share this with Ian Carroll or Redhead Libertarian or Clint Russell, because I would like to talk about this. Luke Rudowski, I would like to talk about this, and there's some direct questions that need to be asked and some answers that need to be given. So, in my opinion, I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and share this video with everybody you know. It really helps out. And if you want to become a subscriber, hey, subscribe to me on X. I think it's $2.99 or whatever. I really appreciate it. Take care.